Naito did a press conference yesterday or today. I think it was yesterday, discussing Jon Moxley, kind of answering questions. And one thing that was brought up was the idea that if Jon Moxley wins here, he's gonna fulfill the global or like international Grand Slam, being the first man to hold the AEW, WWE, and IWGP heavyweight titles. And Naito's like, the fuck do I care about that? He's like, it sounds very impressive, but like, why the fuck would I care about that? You know,
Yeah.
and like, he was like, does he want to be a global Grand Slam champion? Does he want to be the IWGP champion, or is he trying to beat me? Like, what is his motivation? Like, that's really what it comes down to. He's like, I'm hoping that it's not that he just wants to win the title so he can say he's champion, but I want him to want to beat me because I'm the one that holds the title. Basically saying like, I'm the fucking shit, I'm the best, and you got to beat me to say that you're the best, essentially. So I kind of like that tact, basically, without saying it, saying like, those titles don't matter. The IWGP title is the one that matters.
Right.
And that's kind of, that's kind of the tact he took there. But guys, we're here. It's a week away. By the time we record a week from now, we'll know what the truth is. But you know, there's a narrative here where Naito in kayfabe, he just one very interesting thing. He's never held a top title and defended it more than once before. This is the first title reign he's ever had where he's had two successful title defenses, and now on a 6-day notice, he's going to defend it again. And then like there's another resurgence the next month. Plus Dontaku's in May. This is, and then, this is a lot of back to back to back title defenses. Jon Moxley's winning this belt. I don't know how long he's going to hold it, or anything like that, but I think he's winning the title next week.
Yeah, I agree. And we've been talking about it for weeks now, and all we said, the tea leaves are there, like always on Secure Genesis. Like, what do you think is going to happen? And yeah, I think it's very clear that he's winning this title and winning this main event. And you look at the schedule and the next show, like Resurgence being in California, and them already saying, hey, the IWGP World Title is going to be defended here. Like, I think you have a better chance of getting Moxley to show up on that show than making Naito continue to travel to America,
Yep.
which he already doesn't like the traveling to America. So I think you could easily have Mox defend the title on that show. And then again, Mox is a guy that loves New Japan. He loves traveling to Japan, and he hasn't really been doing much in AEW. They beat FTR, and then they've pretty much been off TV. Blackpool Combat Club, that is. Bryan Danielson's obviously in the feud with Ospreay, but Claudio hasn't really done much, and Moxley hasn't done much since they beat FTR. So I think all the signs are there. They've done the stuff in Mexico, so he's kind of been doing this kind of international thing right now, and so I think it makes all sense for Moxley to get the big win here and then move forward.
Yeah, and great summation of the reasons. I mean, we've been talking about it on the show for quite a few weeks now, and I was like, what were the reasons again? I know we've said them many times, and that's pretty much it. Mox Crew 2021 says, how long do you think Mox could hold the title if he wins, especially if AEW really has no plans for him? Short term, like Forbidden Door or Dominion, longer term, like Wrestle Kingdom next year.
Yeah, something else we've kind of talked about. I think a cool story. I think he could go all the way Wrestle Kingdom. Like you've mentioned, they could do this whole thing of Umino winning the G1, and then his big moment is beating his mentor, Jon Moxley, in the Tokyo Dome for the title in the main event. So I think that is very plausible because, like we said, you have Resurgence. Mox can defend there. He can defend. He could. I mean, he doesn't have to, but he could defend the Taku. You could do Mox versus David Finlay, Bullet Club month. Then he can go into Dominion, Forbidden Door, and then G1. Hopefully, if he is a champion, he will be in G1. And then in the fall, he doesn't really have to do many defenses in the fall. He can do one, if at any at all. And then they can just build all the fall up to Moxley Umino come Wrestle Kingdom. So I think there's a very strong chance that he could hold the belt until January 4th.
Well, the two things that make me nervous about that, and I know I'm the one who's like, I think it's going to be him and Umino at the Tokyo Dome, and maybe we'll get there. We'll see. But G1, the champion always works G1. So one of two things would happen. They would set a precedent where he holds the title and he just doesn't work the G1, which would be new territory. Or he works it and we're kind of wondering, like, can his body fucking hold up? Because he was in great shape last time and he got hurt and like it was very strenuous on him, you know? The other thing I worry about the TV rights deal and negotiation season with AEW. And I know that they do have a lot of perceived quote unquote stars right now, but there's been the criticism that, like, they brought in Okada, they brought in Will Ospreay, they brought in Sasha or Mercedes, and it hasn't moved the needle. And granted, anyone with a modicum of sense would understand, like, it takes time to build stars. It takes time for them to build momentum. This is a long, to steal it's it's not a sprint.
The
It's a
marathon.
it's a marathon. Obviously, it's going to take time for that to build up. And I think that we've seen positive growth and positive signs in recent times when it comes to AEW's business. That being said, there are the bad faith grifters who are like, their business isn't moving. They have no stars. All the stars are gone. Kenny Omega's gone. MJF is gone. Adam Cole is gone. Blah blah blah. I'm like, what's to stop TK from just being like, all right, Mox, you've been playing in Mexico and Japan long enough. It's time for you to come home. Like, we need some ratings. Come on. And that's always possible. And that makes me nervous. So I do wonder if a long-term title reign is even plausible.
Yeah, I think there's a chance, but I mean, yeah, he could drop it at any one of these shows. And again, it doesn't have to be a super long run. I mean, they could have him drop it at any point pre G1 if he's not going to be in it. I do think a cool Forbidden Door main event would be him defending against Zack Sabre Jr. The whole kind of Blackpool Combat Club story there, and Sabre lost to Claudio at Forbidden Door before he had the rivalry with Danielson. He beat Danielson, so you could have Sabre beat all BCC. He could beat Claudio in the build to this match, and then you could do the big main event and have Zach be the one to beat Moxley and bring the title back and go into G1 as champion. So I think there's a lot of cool things you could do with Mox as champ.
I would love that. We'll see. Next question. Diego Stinger Garcia says Mox will be the first bald IWGP champion since who? Which that's an easy question. Keiji Muto. Keiji Muto was the last bald champion. Actually, I answered this in the Discord, but I don't have the exact specific order. But there have been quite a few bald champions. Yasuda, Bob Sapp. Bob Sapp was the last foreigner that was bald, that was champion. But Ken Norton at one point was bald and he was champion. I don't know if you count Vader, because like Vader always had like short hair, but it was like
he had like the little like mohawk kind of line,
right? But he's mostly bald, so it's a tough call. Fujita always had like a blonde bleach blonde buzz cut, but there were a few times where he's bald now, but there was a couple times where he would shave his head and then grow out the stubble. So like that's also iffy, but there've probably been like 5 or 6 bald IWGP champions before. But Muto, Hogan, yeah.
I don't know if you count the little like
it was in 83. I think he still had hair in 83 mostly, but he was balding for sure. But yeah, Muto was the last one, and I think that was he dropped that title to Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom 3, so that was like 08, 09, something like that.
Yeah,